he was strangling her and she was dying. And the only option that she felt that she can save her life was to stab and kill her. Courtney said that she threw the knife at Toby. However, the medical examiners, after examining Toby's body, said that the knife went 3 inches deep, hitting an artery. That means if she hit it, she threw it, that means she must be a very good knife thrower to hit the artery.
Let's roll the intro.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Twister Story.
And according to court documents,
organized crime is
have students survived the attacks.
Criminals have become more brazen than ever before.
She and her 2 children sniffed.
Okay. Hi everyone, welcome back to Twister Story. If you're new here, this is a channel about true crime, including murder cases, assault, and any criminal cases. So if you have any case that you want us to cover, you can drop it down in the comment box below. We will research about it and present it on this channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I hope everybody is doing great. It's been a week. I am doing great myself. As you can see, I got better from my cold, so that's great. Thanks to God. Yeah. I guess we'll go straight into the case. So this case, the first time I heard about it, I saw a video on YouTube from Dr. Phil. It was a Nigerian family talking about the loss of their son. It wasn't a long clip. It was like a clip of Dr. Phil's video. I think it was like 2-3 minutes or so. And I just listened to the family. After watching that video, it was interesting and it was very sad. So I wrote it down as one of the cases that I want to cover. But a couple weeks ago, I saw another YouTuber cover it on her channel, and it inspired me to cover it here as well. This case involves Courtney Clennon, but most people know her on social media as Courtney Taylor Toby Obumsele. I'm sorry if I pronounced the last name wrong. My Nigerian viewers don't come for me. So a little bit about Courtney. I'm going to refer to her as Courtney Taylor. So a little bit about Courtney. Courtney was born in April 21st, 1986 in Midland, Texas. And after she was born, I think a couple years after she was born, her family moved to Austin, Texas. And that's where she spent most of her younger years there. Her teenage years, middle school, high school. Courtney was born into a family of 4. Her dad, who was a finance guy, and her mom, Deborah, and her little sister. Courtney was very close to her family. It seems to be a very close-knit family. She talked to her mom a lot. They seems to be very close. Whatever happens to her, her mom was like the first person she calls, her best friend, pretty much. So she was very close to her mom. When Courtney was in high school, she got involved in a lot of sports, horseback riding. She was involved in a lot of sport. But the family all knew that Courtney's plan when she grows up to be a dive Olympian. So she was in a sports team for that, diving practices. They go to all the trainings, they go to all the events for diving for her or the family. Where that's Courtney's dream to be an Olympian. So they were all supporting as much as they can. However, Courtney later on changed her mind about becoming an Olympian diver because she had fears of sharks in the pool. This was something she herself stated in her YouTube video. the reason why she gave up on diving. And she seems to notice that it was a very weird excuse to give up the diving dream. So based on that, she tried different sports event, but later on, she realized that she wanted to be popular and famous. So she was cast in as an extra in a lot of pretty famous movies while she was in high school. So at the age of 18, in order to achieve her dreams, Courtney packed her stuff, said goodbye to her friends, said goodbye to her family, and headed to LA in hopes of achieving her dreams of becoming famous. In getting to LA, Courtney worked hard in order to become famous. And her big break came when one of the producers for a music video contacted her on Instagram if she wanted to be part of a music video. And she gladly took this opportunity. And being part of this music video, she became, I guess, the lead female in the music video, you know, standing right next to the artist. And with this music video, she blew up a little bit. So she opened an Instagram account, and then with that music video, she got a lot of followers on Instagram. And because of that, her social media took off, and she got a lot of followers. And because of that, Playboy, I don't know, Playboy, everybody knows the Playboy magazine. It's a lot of people don't want to admit that they know the Playboy magazine or they have a Playboy magazine, which is fine. But anyways, Playboy magazine picked up on Courtney and her social media, so they actually put her picture in their magazine and wrote "Your typical girl next door." I know we are very young here, but girl next door, the phrase girl next door was pretty popular in sexual world, I guess you can say. You know, the girl next door, you know, your typical girl, you know, waving, doing the gardening, but also looking sexy and hot. I mean, you know, I guess that was the theme of the magazine. Courtney actually didn't know about this. She received a call from her dad. Yes, her dad. She received a call from her dad about this feature in the Playboy magazine. And so she went and took a look, and lo and behold, it was actually true. So between 2015 and 2017, I guess it would be a contract relationship. Playboy will give her a shout out in your magazines, and because of that, her social media followers will go up and go up. So with that, it helped build her followers on Instagram and other social media platforms. Because she was into fitness and sporty things, she opened a YouTube channel which was mostly about fitness, eating healthy, and a healthy lifestyle, but also mostly Q&A questions. And she got quite a few followers on those pages as well. And because she was into fitness, she entered into the bikini competition, and she placed first place. And with that, she also took the training and exam to become a certified personal trainer. Which was great, which was awesome. It seems like she's heading into what she came to LA for, to become popular and famous. So it seems like she was heading in the right direction. With all that, as I mentioned, her YouTube channel was based on Q&A. People were asking about her dating life and things like that. So she would say she's single, but later on, after the competition and in getting into fitness, we realized that she was going out with Mr. Olympian for 2018. His face weren't shown in her videos and her pictures. However, you can see someone sitting on the person. You can see part of his arm on her YouTube videos. So based on the arms and, you know, the physique of the boyfriend, even though his face was not shown in his pictures, people that are into sports or into bodybuilding noticed who he was pretty quickly. So people noticed that he was in a relationship with him. But later on in that relationship, it was alleged that Mr. Olympian had a relationship with another lady and was, I guess, two-timing Courtney. It was alleged that when Courtney found out that Mr. Olympian was two-timing her, they broke up, but she also broke his jaw because she was angry about it and was pissed about it. So later on in her YouTube career, you can see a bit of a change in the contents and the things that she put out. It changed from asking personal questions and putting out fitness into her sexuality and things like that, sexual things and her body and things like that. And within that time frame, she opened an OnlyFans account. So she became an OnlyFans model. As of the day of this event, Courtney had about 2 million followers on OnlyFans. And in 2 years, Courtney made 3 million on the OnlyFans page. 3 million in 2 years, which is a lot of money. That means she was working hard on that page. Yeah. In May 2021, on a trip to Mexico, Courtney met Christian Toby Obumsili. I'm going to call him Toby throughout the video. So if I say Toby, I'm referring to him. So in May 2021, Toby and Courtney met at Mexico. And once they met, they fell in love and became inseparable at that moment on. After the trip, Toby came back home, told his family he's met the girl of his dreams, the girl that he can see himself getting married to, the girl he's going to spend the rest of his life with. He have finally met the one. Is there really a one? Yeah, let's not get into that topic. But he has finally met his forever. And he was so excited. He was showing his family pictures of Courtney, telling him about how great the trip was because he met Courtney and everything. So his family was very excited about him meeting Courtney. And Toby did not shy away to tell his family what Courtney does and that he no matter what, she's the one. And because of that, the family accepted and was happy for Toby. So a little bit about Toby. Toby was born in 1994 to a Nigerian-American parents. Her mom was a nurse and her dad was a technician. Toby in high school played football, so he wanted to continue playing football in college and hopefully play professionally. So he worked very hard. His coach in high school said he will work so hard so that he can get a scholarship to college. And thanks be to God, he got a football scholarship to college. So he transferred to Texas Tech for engineering. And this is when he went onto the trip to Mexico and met Courtney. The trip happened in May 2020. However, the relationship seems to be moving fast since both of them were in love and was very excited to have each other in their life. In 2021, both of them moved in together in an apartment in Texas. So Courtney moved from LA back to Texas and they lived together in the apartment. This happy moment continued on, but it was short-lived. Because soon after they moved in together, this relationship turned toxic very quick. As quickly as they fell in love, this relationship turned very badly as quickly as that. They started fighting, arguing, anything you can think of. And these fighting and arguing turned physical. It wasn't just verbal, I'm mad, so we're yelling at each other. We're not listening to whatever each other say. However, it was just physical, hitting, stabbing, anything you can think of. And it wasn't only happening indoors, but they took it outside. So in a meeting with a friend, they would start fighting outside the apartment, outside the lobby. So it was outside. It wasn't just inside. So it was very toxic for both. So one incident that happened was they both took a trip to Las Vegas in July 2021. On this trip, they were both excited. I mean, they're going on a vacation, supposed to be hanging out at the pool, relaxing indoor, going out to dinner, going to an event or something that's happened. They were both excited for the trip. However, the trip didn't turn out to be what they thought it would be, or at least what Toby thought it would be. They were mostly hanging out at the pool, going inside, eat dinner, and do the same thing. And it seems like Toby made these complaints to Courtney that he expected more out of the trip. And for whatever reason, they started arguing. They started yelling at the top of their voice, fighting, causing commotion. So the police was called. And when the police came in, they saw the room and they saw that it seems like they were throwing stuff and it wasn't safe. And it seems like Courtney threw a glass at Toby's head. So the police noticed this and they asked her, "Did you throw a glass at Toby?" And she said, yes. So she admitted to throwing the glass at him. And the policeman said that even though Toby said he was safe and they were okay, they've calmed down now. However, because Courtney threw the glass at Toby, they will have to hold Courtney for at least 12 hours. So you have to stay at the police station for 12 hours. And once Courtney heard that she was being arrested, she started saying a lot of things happened. There's things that Toby did that she want to share now. All of a sudden, when they mentioned the 12-hour hold and the arrest, her demeanor changed. And it was more like, but he's okay, we are in good terms now, do I still have to go in? And the policeman keeps saying, yes, you have to go in because you threw it. And then she keeps saying that she have more to say now about Toby. She kept saying that, but she never said what more she had to say about Toby. So they put the handcuffs on her and they placed her on a 12-hour hold. And when Toby heard that Courtney was going to be arrested or being placed on a hold, you can see in the video of him tearing up a little bit, feeling sad about this happening. And that is just one of the incidents that have happened throughout their relationship thus far. They will keep fighting, they will keep yelling, and because of that, it was alleged that the apartment served them an eviction notice because of the domestic violent noises that's going on in the apartment. The neighbors kept complaining and things like that. Another incident that also happened between October 9th and October 11th, Toby and Courtney were fighting because Courtney alleged that Toby was cheating on her. And they were arguing about this, yelling at the top of their voices. And Courtney picked up a knife and stabbed Toby in the leg. Yeah, she stabbed Toby in the leg. And there's proof of this because after the incident happened, I think the day after, Toby tested Courtney, and the test stated that this is like a little bit snippet of the test. He said, "I still gave you a good day. Even my leg was hurting because my girlfriend stabbed me. I did not make you feel like for stabbing me." And this is one of the incident. And it went on that she was hitting her in the head that he felt like he was having a concussion. Like he was hitting him. in the head. Another text message that Toby left for Courtney was, it seems like he was leaving traces of evidence of Courtney abusing him, one would say. One of the text messages he said is, "I'm bleeding, throwing up, think I got a mild concussion and I have anxiety. I slept in the bathroom for 2 hours and I'm just lost beyond words." Courtney replied, "I'm sorry for hitting you in the face and at the back of your head and spitting on you. Is that right? No. You just piss me blurb the fuck off, but still love you." So this is like a proof that shows that Courtney was a bit violent towards Toby. Does that mean that maybe Toby was always the victim? No, we don't know that. We can't just conclude that Toby was always the victim. She verbally abused her. We don't know that, right? And the way the relationship is going, it seems like it was back and forth. She threw words and he threw words sometimes. Toby might not be the best boyfriend, but with all these scenarios and with this test, it's showing more of Courtney being violent towards him, right? And it's usually known for women being like the domestic violent victim, but in this case, it seems to be like it was Toby that was being abused in this relationship, right? And because men being abused is not speaking out loud enough, or maybe he felt like if he spoke out, his pride or his ego might be bruised. Not sure why he didn't speak up, but this continued on for a very long time. Let me go back. Was another relationship? Anyway, this continued on for a very long time, but it seems like Toby was still in love with Courtney, that he just didn't want to give up on the relationship. After this incident, they made up and they both got a tattoo. And the tattoo that Toby got was in the name of Courtney on his chest, which is very nice. I'm not the one to judge, but in my opinion, you would think that with all these toxic things going on in the relationship, he might maybe have a second guess. But still, it seems like he thinks that Courtney is the one and the woman that he wants to spend the rest of her life with. And I would say the tattoo he got was a clear statement that, I'm in for the long run. But yeah, that was in the end. However, the couple decided that, maybe a change of environment might be the best thing for them, the best thing for the relationship. So they packed their bags and decided to move to Miami, Florida. At Miami, Florida, they got a very nice sky-rise apartment with their own balcony and nice view. They also have their own elevator. So you get to the lobby, you get on the elevator, you press the elevator, you go up to their floor, which was the 22nd floor, and then the elevator door will open into the apartment. The only time I have seen that was on a TV show, this Disney TV show called Jessie. And the family that was in that show was very rich. It was like their kids' parents were actually celebrities that was making good money, and the celebrity, they bought like an apartment that their kids live in, even though they were busy back and forth, so they had a nanny. Anyway, at their apartment, they would get into the lobby, they would get into the elevator, it goes up and then it opens up in the apartment. So you don't have to like walk into a lobby and into a hallway and then open your apartment door. No, the elevator open and then your apartment is right there, which is very nice. That apartment was said to be around at least 10K a month. So you can imagine how fancy the apartment is. in getting these nice apartment, getting to Miami where the fun is and everything, they were hoping this would be a change in their relationship, you know. They're going to be in this new apartment and they're just going to love each other, understand each other. The arguing will stop and hopefully their relationship will move forward. However, it didn't. The arguing and the fighting continue on just like when they were in Texas. With all these nice apartment views, nice elevators, nice balconies and everything, the relationship was still toxic for both of them. The fighting, the yelling, the injuries, the bruises still continue on in Miami. There were many instances where neighbors and their friends, mutual friends, will say that they will be fighting in public. One incident was in February 2022. Toby was sitting down in the lobby watching sports with, I guess, some of the neighbors. And then Courtney came downstairs and started fighting and yelling at Toby. We are not sure what the reason was, but she started yelling and fighting and hitting Toby. The neighbors that were there seems to find this very weird because it wasn't just verbal abuse or verbal fighting. It was also physical, which it's not normal for you to be in a relationship and you guys are arguing or fighting or angry at each other, but you guys are also physical, which is not healthy. So most of the neighbors took videos of what happened. There was a neighbor who lives, I think, in the apartment, but at a 12th floor, and he mentioned that he saw Toby and Courtney fighting, and they were so loud that he can hear it at his 12th floor apartment. So he picked up his phone and took video of them fighting. So the video is like overhead with them at the bottom and he's taking the video. The sound was not on, but you can see Toby and Courtney fighting at the bottom. And these are like a few of the instances where the neighbors have seen them fight, right? Another thing, after all this fighting, I guess Toby felt that he needed to start keeping evidence or record of these violence. So he started secretly recording their arguments and their fighting. One would say that if you have come to the conclusion to record these fights, that he will probably have noticed that this relationship was not healthy for him and that he was being abused or violated in this relationship. We don't know. But then not the fight, it seems like at this point, Courtney was the only one insinuating violence on Toby. However, one of the neighbors mentioned that he saw an incident where Toby was also being violent towards Courtney. So I guess you can't conclude that he was the ultimate victim in this case, because some of the neighbors alleged that they actually saw Toby being violent towards Courtney. But for most of the evidence that have come out so far, it seems to be that Courtney was the one that was most of the time being violent towards Toby. Most of their mutual friends will say that Toby seems to be quiet most of the time, and then Courtney will mostly be the one yelling and being violent towards Toby. So that's what people allege. I forgot to mention at the beginning, this is actually an ongoing case. It haven't been concluded yet. So we're still waiting for trials to happen. So there's no verdict yet, right? So we can't completely say that Toby was an ultimate victim or whether Courtney was an ultimate victim. But it is, so far, Courtney's lawyers and attorneys are alleging that Courtney was a victim in this situation. She was the ultimate victim. She was being physically abused by Toby. And that is what Courtney's attorneys are presenting. And it seems like that's what they are going to be presenting at the trial. Another incident that happened was in February as well. They went out to hang out with friends, and it seems like at this hangout, we're not sure what they were talking about, but it seems like one of the friends made a statement that Courtney, I guess, disagreed with. However, Toby actually sided or agreed with the friend instead of with Courtney, and this seems to piss and set off Courtney. On their way back in a car on the street, there's a audio version. It's not a video. It's one of the recordings that Toby actually did. He secretly recorded their argument and their fight on their way back.
Myself.
Baby, please. Just get in the car. Just please. I'm sorry for calling you stupid. You will never hear me doing that. It was not right for me to do that. Please, baby, don't kill yourself.
You will never protect me.
I will.
Somebody was being horrible to me.
Okay.
You defended them.
Okay, just tell me in the car.
Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me.
Stay here. You're gonna.
See?
Your dogs are your.
See, you just said stay here. Wow.
Yeah. I know. Are you from Miami? No.
No, he's not helping me. Just leave me alone.
Just let me talk to you for a
Leave
second.
me alone.
I got
Leave me alone.
Like this, you have your respect. I want you to calm down, alright? What's gonna happen, right? I saw you banging your head. That's not
Yes.
good. I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Do you know what that is like? Oh, it means that I want to kill myself.
You don't need to feel like that. You don't need to feel like
Not
that.
when I tell him this.
So breathe in.
He literally makes fun of me when I am crying. Sorry, I'm not yelling.
No, I get it. I get it.
Stop.
I get it. Look, I have a wife and people. I'm married. I have kids. I have a life. You know, I didn't need to stop before Lord, but I see you guys need help. You guys don't need to be going through. Alright? Truly sorry. No, it's alright.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Look.
This guy was literally yelling into our car. He was yelling at me, making fun of me from my car. So he said, come swing on me, come swing on me. So I opened the door and I got out and I hit him. And then he said, go apologize to that man. Even though he was hanging in my car.
We all make mistakes.
No, it's like, what would you do if you were me?
I know.
I feel like I don't have anywhere to go but my head.
Okay, where do you live?
I live like a block away.
You want us to order you an Uber and just go home and you guys can talk about this later, because I don't think this is gonna end up anywhere good for you or for her. The dogs are. Let's just go drive around.
No, you like you.
I promise you, I won't
Every
do
time I
anything.
ask you for help,
Are you guys in a relationship? Yes. Yeah.
not anymore.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Nah, look, I don't. No, man, you guys don't have to apologize for that. I have problems with my relationship too, bro. Right?
He just said he broke up with me. So the fact that he's bending down, this is how he makes friends with everybody.
No, it's not about that.
Yes, it is.
I'm not.
Shut up. He literally just said, got in my car.
When you're upset, just
I'm
get
like,
on my
I'm
page.
sorry, I like touching it.
Relax. This is breathe. Okay. Breathe. Relax. You know, when you get upset.
I did.
Cece, just stop.
No,
please. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you make yourself look good.
No, I'm
in
not.
front of people.
No, it's my fault. He said it's his fault. Courtney, just come on, bro. Courtney, please, your dogs are in the car.
You just told a lowlife. You just told me that to a lowlife. You're supposed to protect me.
Yes, and I know. I'm sorry.
No. No. Both my dogs better be in that.
Right there.
You are so lucky, both my dogs.
Stop hitting me.
You are no, because you let my dogs.
Because I was looking at for you.
My dogs.
My bad.
My dogs are more
Okay, my
important.
bad. I'm just making.
No, not your. Give me something. Give me something better than my back.
I'm sorry. Okay, Courtney, just stop.
Don't ever do that again.
Okay, just stop it. It's okay. Stop.
So in this audio, it seems like Courtney is very pissed and yelling at Toby. For whatever reason, it seems like the car was stopped and Courtney got out of the car and was yelling and crying. And it seems like Toby was saying, I'm sorry, come back. I'm sorry, come back into the car, Courtney. She's begging and pleading for her to come back into the car. However, Courtney is just yelling and crying. So there was a bystander that was passing by. He stopped and asked if she was okay and if he needs to call the police. And she was like, no. It seems like she told him her side of the story, and then she kept apologizing to the bystander. I'm sorry. And then she would turn to Toby and then start yelling at him. It seems like he was saying something to the bystander, and I think Kobe said something. He would be like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, and then turn to Toby and yell, shut up. Like she's yelling at him. And then for whatever reason, she ran off, and the bystander had a couple minutes with Toby. And the bystander told Toby, this is not normal. He's in a relationship himself and he have arguments with his girlfriend, but this is not normal. Toby ran after Courtney, trying to get her back, telling her to get into the car. He tried to persuade her with the puppies, telling her that her puppies are in the car, she should come back to the car. But later on, she came back to the car, and as she was coming back, she was saying, my puppies better be safe. So I think they probably left the door or something. She just like, my puppies better be safe. And then you can hear her hit Toby, and Toby keeps saying, stop hitting me. I'm sorry, stop hitting me. He kept apologizing to her. I get it. When you're in a relationship and you go out and, you get into a conversation with, if you get into a conversation with your friends, I don't think you will care whether your boyfriend agrees or not. It's like it's a conversation, unless you are having like an argument or a fight with a friend. Then you want your boyfriend, backing you up, But it seems like it was a conversation. It wasn't a fight. So it's a bit weird that she find it offensive that he issued an opinion or issued what he thought about the opinion, but it wasn't it was different from what her opinion was. I guess she was a bit pissed that he had a different opinion than her. And because of that, to that extent of being mad, getting out of the car, crying and yelling at the top of your voice, it's a bit over dramatic, I think. But that's just my opinion. But anyways, with this incident, we can see how Courtney's mood changes. Like when she's talking to the bystander, the way she talks, and then how she turns, and then she talks to Toby. It's very different, and it's very interesting. I guess everybody and the way they feel or the way they, display their emotions. So the prosecutor released the CCTV footage of the elevator in the apartment. And in this CCTV footage, Courtney enters into the elevator, and then she presses a button on the elevator, and then she holds out her hands. Usually when you get into an elevator and you can see someone was coming, trying to catch the elevator, you put your hands out or you press the button so that the door doesn't close and then they can come in. You can see that she pressed something on the thing, but her hand was on the door, right? Even though her hand was on the door, she was like really pressing the number as if she wanted the door to close, but then her hands were still at the door. So a few seconds later, Toby walked into the elevator, and then she started hitting him at the back of his head, anywhere. She was just hitting him, and he was trying to avoid, I guess, getting hit. So he would just push her, trying to push her away so that she doesn't keep hitting him. So this video shows that it was Courtney that was being violent towards Toby. But in the video, you can also see Toby smiling, right? So it's like, is it just that some people, even when they're nervous or in any kind of situation, they smile? Me, for example, in an awkward situation or when I'm nervous, or probably I just can't wrap my mind around what's happening, you just see me smile. It just automatically, I don't know, I do it, right? So people allege that that's the situation that Toby was in. He was in a very uncomfortable and awkward situation, and automatically he's just smiling, not because he is mocking her or he is finding the situation funny, but because it's just something that is just his reaction to an uncomfortable situation, right? Others also think that later on in the video, she was pushing her, trying to avoid the hitting, but he became a little bit more aggressive, like pushing her under his armpit to stop the hitting. Some people also qualify that as him also being abusive, hitting back at her, but it seems more like him trying to find all the means to stop her from hitting him. Yeah. And as they got out of the elevator, you can see that the violence and the argument continues on. One of the last fights or arguments that happened between the couples before this murder happened was at the end of March 2022. Toby went out on his bike riding around, and on his ride he met one of their mutual friends, and they exchanged greetings. Hey, hi, how are you? You've met someone that you know, so of course you're gonna say hi. So Toby and the friend, which was a female friend, they exchanged greetings and they went on their way. Toby came back and forgot to mention this to Courtney. I guess he made a promise back at the beginning of their relationship to tell Courtney everything. So when he came back, and then he forgot about it. And the friend happened to have a phone conversation with Courtney and mentioned that she met Toby and they exchanged greetings. And this set off Courtney because Toby did not mention to her that he met this mutual friend of theirs. So when Toby came back, Courtney was mad. She was just pissed and fuming. So she started yelling at the top of her voice, about him meeting their friend and not letting her know and not telling her about it. And she mentioned that Toby wanted to, quote and unquote, sleep with this mutual friend of theirs. He, I guess, finds her sexually attractive. So I guess she was jealous about him meeting her, but it was at a public place on a bike ride, and they didn't talk much about anything. They just exchanged pleasantry and went on their way. So I guess it slipped his mind. But this pissed Courtney off. Like, it pissed her off. So she was yelling at the top of her voice about, like, Courtney meeting her and not, like, telling her and things like that. There's, like, an audio. I guess that's one of the recordings that Toby did of her yelling at the top of her voice, like, cursing him out, calling him the N-word, and things like that, right? And it was mentioned that whenever Courtney was mad or pissed or they were having their loud voice arguments, she would always go that low and call him like the N-word, insulting him, having racial insults at him. So it's something to point out because, I don't know, to be calling someone you love the N-word is a bit disrespectful. It just shows disrespect to him on my part. That's what I think. After that incident, they broke up, right? And because they moved into the same apartment, I guess Toby didn't have any friends, they have mutual friends, but any family members or anyone to rely on in Miami. So when they broke up, he was sleeping at the elevator lobby, right? So they have their elevator lobby with a couch, so he was sleeping there. And Courtney didn't say anything to that, and it wasn't something new. Sometimes when they have their arguments, I think he sleeps there because, when they have arguments, they won't want to share the same bed, I guess. So he sleeps there. So it wasn't something weird, right? So after they broke up, Courtney called her mom for her to come visit. Her mom come visit, and then she goes away. And I think the day that her mom left, she dropped her mom at the airport. She came back. I guess she came down to walk her dogs, and she was coming up. And as she was coming up, the security people, as she was walking into the elevator, the security people saw that Toby was walking towards her, and then Courtney put her hands out saying, "Don't come in." I think she said, "Don't come in." So I guess the security people felt that it wasn't safe, so they called the police officer in. So the police officers came to the apartment and talked to Courtney. The security manager or whoever was in charge were talking to the police officer, and he mentioned that he asked Courtney if she wants them to throw Toby out of the apartment, but she mentioned no. She said no. So they didn't bother throwing Toby out of the apartment. So when the police officers came, Courtney was a bit intoxicated. There's actually a video, like the body cam of the cop was recorded and it was released, so you can see in the video that Courtney was a little bit intoxicated. It's not confirmed, it's alleged. So she was talking to the cops, saying that she want to file a restraining order first because she think that Toby is going to try to file a restraining order. Not because she felt unsafe or she felt that her life was in danger, but because she thinks that Toby was going to file it first. That's one thing. Second thing, the police officer asked her if she felt unsafe. Well, she said she was scared of Toby. So the police officer asked her why she was scared. Is it because Toby was physically abusing her or something like that? And she was like, no. That's not something that she have to worry about. That's what she told the police officer, that it's not something that she have to worry about, meaning Toby was not violent towards her. So after that, the police went on their way. The police told her that because Toby have lived with her for the past 2 months since they moved from Texas to Florida, they live together. That's where he lives. That's where his stuff is. They can't physically move her or charge him for trespassing because he lives there. He might not be paying rent or anything, but he lives there. As long as he lives there, they can't just remove him from the apartment. So the police said that they told her where she can file the restraining order, and then they went on their business. They went back. So after this incident, they made up and they got back together. So on April 3rd, the day of the incident, it seems like they've made up. They are now at a good place. That morning, there was video on Toby's phone of them happily together with their 2 dogs, dancing around. So it seems like, okay, now they're on good terms. Whatever problem that they were having have been solved, right? So as the day went on, I guess they got hungry. So Toby decided to go down to Subway to get them sandwiches to eat. And Courtney was doing laundry. So once Toby head out, a couple minutes later, Courtney decided to check on Find My iPhone to see where he was. He went on the Find My iPhone app and saw that Toby had manually turned off the Find My iPhone, so she can't trace him where he was. And this pissed her off because, yes, they had broken up, maybe because of that he turned it off, but when they made up, Toby promised her to turn it back on. So I guess it slipped his mind to turn it on, but she got so pissed off. She started calling his phone, but he wasn't picking up. I guess probably he rode his bike, so he just missed the call, or maybe decided to call her later, but he didn't pick up the call. So after calling him multiple times and not getting through, Courtney decided to do an Instagram live, a Q&A live on Instagram. So she logged on Instagram, did a Q&A. One of the questions that her audience asked was where she sees herself 5 years from now. And she mentioned that with kids, with a husband, with the big nice family, and probably not doing OnlyFans anymore. She answered that question. And then she ended the Instagram live. Right when she ended the Instagram live and uploaded it, she called Toby again. This was around 4:33 p.m. She called, and right when she called, that was when Toby walked through the door. When Toby walked through the door, Courtney was already mad. She was mad that Toby had not turned on the Find My iPhone app so that she can trace her and things like that. So she was already mad. She was pissed. So they started having argument about finding my iPhone, and Toby also argued back that Courtney herself have not turned it on. So they were having like these mini arguments back and forth. But they sat down to eat their sandwich, and while they were eating their sandwich, I guess they were throwing little insults back and forth to each other. Toby made a statement that, why don't you go get one of the guys with G-Wagons? He made this statement because Courtney mentioned that with her looks and how she looks, being pretty and things like that, she can easily get one of the guys with G-Wagons, meaning, a guy with a lot of money, because a G-Wagon is around, like, if I'm correct, $200,000. So meaning she can get a guy that have a lot of money. But when Toby made the statement, it got Courtney very mad. So the yelling started, the fighting started. And at this point, the neighbors are hearing these yelling and commotion going on the 22nd floor, right? So the neighbors started calling police, about these noises and commotion going on the 22nd floor, right? But at this point, because there's two people in the room at that time, but there's only one that's alive that can tell us what actually went on. So at this point, the story is based on what Courtney shared, and also based on his phone cell records timeline. This is what Courtney said happened. So at this point, it was around 4:46, right? 4:46 is when the neighbors started calling police about noises on the 22nd floor, right? They started calling police about these noises on the 22nd floor. And according to Courtney, when they were fighting, I guess after Toby made that statement, they were fighting, and then she said Toby started becoming very physical. She grabbed her on the neck and threw her against the wall, choking her, pretty much strangling her. And then he threw her across the room, right? And she got very scared, so she got out from the floor and ran to the kitchen, right? And picked up her phone to call her mom. So on the phone with her mom, she became very scared, so she picked up a knife from the kitchen and was pretty much trying to scare Toby to go away, saying that, don't come close to me, go away. However, Toby was still walking towards her. So she said she became scared and threw the knife, right? Walk away, otherwise, and then she threw it, right? And then Toby fell, right? So she rushed towards Toby, and then she saw that the knife hit his shoulders or chest, around the chest area, right above Toby's tattoo that says Courtney. That's where the knife hit. So she started freaking out. I don't know what to do. Toby, she started freaking out, right? You would think that at that moment, when you see, him bleeding and now you're freaking out because you just stabbed him, she will hang up the call with the mom and call 911 right away. But according to her phone records, that is not what happened. So we mentioned that the neighbor started calling the police around 4:46 p.m., right? Courtney was on the phone with her mom, and the phone got cut off around 4:49. The phone call got cut off around 4:49. However, Courtney called her mom back again, and they talked on the phone till 4:56 p.m. Right when she hung up the phone at 4:56 p.m., that was when she called 911 around 4:57.
One operator down. What is the address of your emergency? Okay, ma'am, please.
3101. It's 130, so 130.
Ma'am, listen to me. You need to stop screaming on the line and give me the address.
3101.
You're gonna die. I can't feel my arm.
3101.
I can't feel my arm.
Ma'am.
So my boyfriend is dying of a stab.
Ma'am, what is the address?
What's that? What's the address, baby?
31.
3131 Northeast 7th Ave. Please, God, please. Come see my boyfriend.
Ma'am, is this a house apartment or a business?
512-745-2582.
Is this a house apartment or a business?
Baby, I'm so sorry. Baby.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
If you have a stab wound to his shoulder, can you sit down?
What do you mean he has a stab wound on his shoulder, ma'am?
Yeah, he's bleeding from his shoulder.
Rescue, this is PD position 2. The caller, ma'am, hold on one moment. The caller advised the address is 3131 Northeast 7th Avenue, 31 Northeast 7th Avenue. The phone number is verified. The caller advised that her boyfriend has a stab wound. Okay, is this a house, apartment, or a business?
Listen, please, God, please, please, God,
Listen, ma'am. I'm sending help. I need you to tell me exactly what happened. I'm sending help. How old is he? Ma'am, how old is he? Is he awake? Hello? Hello? PD, are you still on the line? Yes, you're still on the line. She didn't provide a room number or anything. No, did she tell you where he was stabbed at? She said he was stabbed on his shoulder. Okay. Do you know if there's more than one wound? No, she didn't say. She just kept screaming on the line saying that he was dying, that he needed help, and she kept apologizing. But we do have a call at that same address in reference to a fight that happened. The room number could possibly be 2201, because we already have a call that 2 people are fighting inside of that room. So they're possibly related. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give her a call back, but we do have rescue on the way, okay? Okay, thank you. Is PD responding on the 3? Yes, we're responding on the 3. Alrighty, thank you. You're welcome.
p.m. So she called 911 around 4:57 p.m., freaking out on the call that her boyfriend had been stabbed. He's bleeding. He doesn't know what to do. And she was apologizing. I'm sorry, babe. I'm so sorry, babe. And the 911 respondents keep asking her, what is the address? What is the address? So that she can send the police and the emergency responders there. What is the address? But she didn't give her the address. She just kept saying, I'm sorry, babe. Like, she's not giving the address. And then, I think at that time, Toby was conscious. So Toby gave the 911 respondent the address. So he was the one that gave the 911 respondent the address. And because Courtney was not giving the address, she didn't give them the apartment number or the floor. They just have the address that Toby gave them, and then that was it. So right after giving the address, the 911 respondent kept asking, what floor? But then Courtney keeps saying, I'm sorry. She wasn't saying anything to the respondent, and then it went dead quiet, right? So then the 911 respondent put one and one together because earlier on, the neighbors called 911 about the noise on the 22nd floor. So the 911 respondent told the dispatch that earlier on there was a call about the 22nd floor. So he's guessing that this would be the 22nd floor. So that's how they got to the apartment around 5:04. So that was when the police got there, around 5:04. So when the police got there, they took Toby to the hospital, and then they took Courtney in for questioning. Toby was pronounced dead at the hospital at age 27. At the interrogation room at the police station, Courtney kept asking how Toby was doing. And then, based on people's opinion, she kept asking because if Toby was not dead, then legally she won't have serious charges against her. But if he's dead, then she might be charged with murder, right? So people speculate that she was asking how Toby was doing because of that. But one thing that actually happened in the interrogation room that was unheard of or gives you an eyebrow raise was when Courtney asked how she said Christian, right? She asked how Christian was doing. The police officer was like, who is Christian? And then he thought about it for a minute and was like, oh, the victim. Which makes it very weird because you're in an interrogation room because of the victim. You're trying to get justice and information about what happened to the victim. And you don't even know the name of the victim. That raises an eyebrow. However, later on, there were a few things that the police did to the family of the victim that was unprofessional, and it was not the right thing. They didn't do a good job when it came to the victim's police. We will discuss that later. The stories that Courtney said or was given out was not consistent with the things that she said back at the house. It was inconsistent. And then at the end of the interview, the police officers told her that Toby was dead. And you can see that Courtney was very sad, genuinely very sad. However, after the questioning, after the interview, the Florida police let Courtney go. She went back home, which surprised a lot of people because this is a murder case, right? Courtney claimed that it was for self-defense, that Toby was strangling her, and when Toby threw her across the room, she threw the knife to save her life. Pretty much, that's what she's saying. And even if it was self-defense, I don't think they usually let the suspect go until it's proven 100% it was self-defense. But with this case, after the interview, the police let Courtney go that same day. They let her go home. And one of the things that they didn't do is Courtney claimed that it was self-defense, that Toby was strangling her. That's why she stopped him. But they didn't take any pictures of her neck to show that there was bruises. They didn't do anything that can help Courtney prove her case. However, they also state that Courtney was not injured or bruised in any way. So maybe that's the reason why they didn't take any pictures. However, still, even if she wasn't bruised, you would think that they would take pictures to prove that, okay, when she said it, we took a look and we didn't see anything. This is proof of it. But they didn't do that. They just let her go home. And Courtney will be able to roam about, do whatever she have to do for the next 4 months without being arrested. So the victim's family. Okay. The Florida police did not call the family of the victim. So Toby's mom, who is a nurse, was at the hospital at work, and she got a call from a medical examiner. And when she picked up this call, the medical examiner asked her if she want to give permission to donate her son's organs. She was confused. What do you mean donate my son's organs? Like, my son is in Florida with his girlfriend. And the medical examiner asked if she haven't received a call from the police officer or anything. She was like, no. And then the medical examiner confirmed the information for Toby. And she was like, yeah, that's my son. So it was the medical examiner that actually broke the news to Toby's mom that Toby is dead, to pretty much get her permission to donate Toby's organs. That was when she hanged up the phone, called Toby's dad, called the family, and that was when the family was pretty much notified that Toby, their son, is dead. Which is, it looks bad on the Florida police officers. It looks very bad. They're supposed to be the first person that he is to know. They're supposed to be the first people that they called when they heard that Toby was dead, even before he was pronounced dead. They were supposed to be the first people that they called to inform. So it's very sad that the mom found out this news by an examiner asking for his organ donation. So I can only imagine. It's very sad. So right after they were told, I guess they contacted Florida police officers multiple times to see what's going on with the investigation. How did he die? Like, all the things that they can find out. But then the detectives keep telling them to calm down. When he finds information, he will call them, like, they need to calm down so that he can do his job. Pretty much, they said not even 24 hours after the death, the detective called them back and said that this is like a courtesy call to let them know that he's closing the case as a self-defense case. And the family was very confused. Like, we've known Toby pretty much his whole life. We don't see him as a violent person. He's a very nice, calm person who likes to help people. So it's not possible that he was violent. Like, it's hard to believe. So they asked the detective not close the case and continue investigating the case. However, he closed it. But they fought nails and to make this case keep going. Because 4 months later, Courtney was expedited from Hawaii and was arrested for a second-degree murder of Toby. So after the case, as I mentioned, Courtney went about her business, her usual routine. She was seen at a bar with her dad, and one of the people that had been following the case saw her and noticed her and pulled out her phone and was like, after killing your boyfriend, you're now at a bar. So her dad and her had to leave the bar. However, a close friend of them mentioned that this bar was actually right underneath of her apartment, and she wanted to have after all this, she wanted to have, I guess, a quality time with her dad. So they went there. So there's that. But after this whole case, Courtney did not stop posting on OnlyFans. She kept posting on social media even after Toby's dead. As a courtesy to the family, I will probably pause, have time to grieve, with the family and give them the respect so that they can grieve their loss. But she continued to post on OnlyFans, and it said that between the time of the murder, which was April 2022, till August 2022, the time she was arrested, she made $40,000 in OnlyFans. That means $10,000 every month. A lot of money. I know it's a lot of money, but based on what we saw of her making $3 million in 2 years, that means she was financially well off, that she could have paused those couple months to show respect and grief to the victim, but she didn't do that. And it was said that she went to Boston to visit the family and have that family time with them. However, Courtney was sent into a rehab center in Hawaii. So about that, this rehab facility, mental rehab facility in Hawaii, is a top-notch rehab in Hawaii. It is said that it costs $35,000 a month for this rehab in Hawaii. That is like my vacation place that I'm planning to go. And at a top-notch facility, well, we are not the ones to judge whether it was a vacation or a rehab. But anyways, after being there for 4 months, a warrant was issued for her arrest in August. So she was expedited from Hawaii to Miami and was arrested. With this arrest, she was charged with second-degree murder of Christopher Toby Obumsela. And we are still waiting on the trial. However, his bond release was denied, so she will have to be in jail till the trials. And the attorneys and Courtney are claiming that this murder was for self-defense. So they have to prove that at the time that Courtney murdered Toby, she felt that her life was in danger, meaning he was strangling her and she was dying. And the only option that she felt that she can save her life was to stab and kill her. Also, it was said that, Courtney said that she threw the knife at Toby. However, the medical examiners, after examining Toby's body, said that the knife went 3 inches deep, hitting an artery. That means if she hit it, she threw it, that means she must be a very good knife thrower to hit the artery and precise. Well, according to the medical examiner, he thinks someone will have to be face to face for the knife to hit that deep. But hey, he's not a professional in that. That is just his theory. So, based on things, the evidence that have come out, it seems like Courtney's attorney will have to work very hard to prove that this was actually a self-defense murder. And that is the story of Christopher Toby Obumsela. He was 27 years old. His coaches from high school and his friends from high school describe him as very bright, very bubbly, very friendly, always smiling, and a very hard-working young man. He had a very bright future. His family said he brightens the room when he comes in. Like, he's very friendly, and he was the life of the party. And it was cut short at 27. Just 27. Yeah. Thanks for watching today's show. We will keep you updated if the trials, when the trials happen and the verdict and things, we will keep you updated as it goes. Let me know down in the comment box below what you think. Is it self-defense, or is it a planned, premeditated murder, or was it just a heat in the moment killing? What do you think? Leave it down in the comments box below. Let's discuss. Yeah, and that will be the end of today's story. Thanks for watching, and have a good night. Like, comment, share, subscribe.